Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to tackle a word that you hear everywhere, in the boardroom, in business books, even when you're just talking about your own life goals, strategy. But what does it actually mean? Let's get into it. All right, to kick things off, let me ask you a question. What on earth could a pop icon, one of the longest reigning monarchs ever, and a tech behemoth possibly have in common? I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, but well, the answer is the secret to their incredible success. And that answer is strategy. You see, for all of them, there's this really clear, consistent theme that guides everything they do. The key word here is theme. A strategy isn't some super rigid step-by-step plan. It's a unifying idea. For Lady Gaga, it's all about constant artistic reinvention. For the Queen, it was stability and duty. For Google, it's organizing the world's information. That theme is the North Star for every single choice they make. So, how do you find a theme like that? Well, it all comes down to looking in two directions at the same time. First, you've got to look out at the world around you, your industry, your customers, your competition. And then you have to look in at yourself. What are your unique strengths? What do you bring to the table? This simple outside/inside framework, honestly, it's the foundation of every great strategy. So let's start with that view from the outside. I mean, think about it. Before you can win any game, you have to understand the rules, the field, and who you're playing against, right? In business, that means you have to analyze the arena you're competing in. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is with a tool called Porter's 5 Forces. Just think of it like a health checkup for an entire industry. It helps you figure out stuff like, how much power do your suppliers and customers really have over you? How easy is it for a new competitor to just show up and steal your lunch? Can your customers easily switch to something else? And just how nasty is the rivalry between the existing players? All these forces together basically determine how tough it's going to be to turn a profit. And this right here shows you exactly why that analysis is so critical. Look, not all industries are created equal, not even close. The airline industry, it's famously brutal. You've got intense competition, powerful customers, huge costs, and the average return is just over 5%. But then you look over at hotels and casinos, and they're pulling in nearly double that. The takeaway is huge. The arena you choose to play in has a massive effect on your chances of winning. Okay, so once you've scanned the horizon and you understand the battlefield, it's time to turn that lens inward. You have to get real about what you're working with. It's time to size up your own personal toolkit. Now, this inside view really comes down to two things: your resources and your capabilities. A resource is the stuff you have, like a well-known brand, a valuable patent, or a factory. But a capability is what you can do with that stuff. Think about Apple's genius for product design or Toyota's legendary manufacturing efficiency. The best analogy is this: resources are the ingredients in your kitchen. Capabilities are what make you a great chef who can turn those ingredients into an incredible meal. And that, right there, is the absolute heart of strategy. It's the recipe. It's how you take your inside toolkit, all your resources and capabilities, and you brilliantly match them to the challenges and the opportunities of the outside world to create a clear way to win. And when you boil it all down, there are really two fundamental paths to victory, what we call a competitive advantage. You can either win on cost, which means you're just more efficient and you can offer the same product for less, or you can win on differentiation, meaning you offer something unique that people are willing to pay more for. Basically, are you going to be more efficient or more effective? Just think about the difference between Ryanair and Emirates, two airlines, both successful but playing completely different games. This classic grid just shows you how it all fits together. You take those two paths, cost or differentiation, and you combine them with the scope of your market. Are you going after everyone, a broad market, or are you zeroing in on a specific niche? This gives you 4 main strategic plays. You could be the overall cost leader like Walmart, or differentiate for a huge market like Nike. Or you could focus on a small segment and win with either low cost or unique features, like a tiny boutique hotel. And if you want to see the sheer world-changing power of cost advantage, just look at the Ford Model T. Ford was absolutely relentless in perfecting the moving assembly line.
They got more efficient with every single car they built. And that drove the price down from over $600 to just $260. They didn't just win the market, they literally created the modern car market by making it affordable for almost everyone. That is strategy in action.
But here's the reality check. Strategy is not some document that you create once, put in a binder, and stick on a shelf. The world is constantly changing, and your strategy has to be ready to change right along with it. It's a dynamic process, not a final destination. And this brings us to this really fascinating idea called emergent strategy. A scholar named Henry Mintzberg found that most of what a company actually ends up doing wasn't in the original big plan. In fact, he figured that only about 10 to 30% of a company's intended strategy ever actually happens. The rest of it emerges from all the little day-to-day decisions that people make as they adapt to what's really happening on the ground. The most successful companies aren't just great planners, they're great learners.
The economist Joseph Schumpeter put it perfectly. He called competition a perennial gale of creative destruction. What a phrase. What he means is that the business world is never calm. It's this constant storm of new ideas, new technologies, and new rivals that are always turning things up. A brilliant strategy today could be totally obsolete tomorrow. So the goal isn't to find some permanent advantage, it's to get really good at navigating that storm.
So let's bring it all home. A strategy is that unifying theme that gives meaning and direction to what you do, whether you're running a company, creating art, or just planning your own career. It's born from looking out at the world and looking deep inside yourself. And it's never, ever finished. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What's the unifying theme that gives coherence and direction to your actions? What's your strategy?